Hey there, everyone. It's Dale Hall, Managing Director of Research here at the Society of Actuaries. One of our main releases from our Society of Actuaries Retirement Plans Experience Committee every year is to update a look at U.S. population mortality and create mortality improvement models and a scale that pension, retirement, really any actuary can use and consider in their work. And this year's release is called Mortality Improvement Scale MP 2020. And my guest here today to discuss that release with us, it's Patrick Nolan. Patrick's an FSA and a member of the Academy. He's SOA Experience Studies Actuary on staff with us here at the SOA. Patrick is our main link to our retirement plans, experience committee, all the different projects that they investigate. Patrick, thanks for joining us on the video here.
Absolutely. I'm glad to be here.
Now, Patrick, there's always some new things that the committee is looking at every year when it comes to updating, obviously new data, new mortality. Other than some of the usual updates, anything new that we should be aware of for this year's MP 2020 report?
Well, the most significant change that took place this year was a change to the committee-selected long-term rate of mortality improvement that feeds into scale MP 2020. So folks familiar with the MP scales might recall that the committee-selected assumption for the long-term rate of improvement has been 1% for ages 85 and younger, decreasing linearly to 0.85% at age 95, and then further decreasing linearly to 0% at age 115. The committee has made the decision to change this assumption to 1.35% at ages 62 and younger, decreasing to 1.1% at age 80, decreasing again to 0.4% at age 95, and then finally decreasing to 0% at age 115. So the net effect of that is that we have a higher mortality improvement rate at some of the younger ages and then a lower mortality improvement rate at some of the older ages, with the crossover point taking place somewhere around age 82 or 83.
Patrick, COVID-19 is certainly a mortality event happening here in 2020. How does that mesh in with the committee's look at this? I guess what considerations were given to potentially adjusting MP 2020 to reflect the effects of COVID-19?
Well, it was certainly a large topic of discussion this year as the scale approached publication, but ultimately the committee decided not to make any changes for COVID-19 that fed into either scale MP 2020 or the model that produced it. The reason for this is that the RPEC model is a data-driven model, and we did not have any final data for 2020 that we could feed into it. And furthermore, how mortality will be affected in the future by COVID-19 has yet to be determined. There's theories about how it might be lower or higher, but ultimately the committee felt uncomfortable speculating on which direction the trend would go after 2020. And even if an adjustment were to be made, the magnitude of that adjustment would be very subjective. So the committee is leaving it up to individual practitioners to decide if and how to adjust mortality improvement for COVID-19 in the future.
So as we go from one year to the next, one of the things that we tend to look at is the effect of changing from the past scale or the past model to the next model. And I know the committee has taken a look at that. Are there some overview or some highlights of the net effect that changing to MP 2020 might have on things like pension liabilities or life expectancy values from the new scale?
In general, there's expected to be a decrease in pension liabilities when updating from scale MP 2019 to scale MP 2020. The committee actually, in the MP 2020 report, did break out the effects of the change in updating data, so the usual annual update, and the change to the long-term rate. And it turns out that the majority of the decrease is due to the change in the long-term rate structure. Had the committee not changed the long-term rate, there would have been very little change in pension liability estimates as a result of simply adding another year of data to the model. So that's been kind of interesting because we've been seeing decreases over the past several years due to data updates, and at least for this year, that seems to have slowed down.
No, thanks for highlighting that. Well, everyone watching in, I certainly hope you found this video helpful. Gives you a little bit more information about all that's going on with MP 2020 and more generally, the concept of mortality improvement using U.S. population data. Encourage you to go out, take a look at the report. Lots of supplementary and complementary materials that are on the SOA website. We have the rates from MP 2020. There's a model implementation tool that you can download and take a look at, and actually some references to not only last year's scale, but historically how those scales have played out. Encourage you as well to listen in to our Research Insights podcast. Easy to find it. Just go to your preferred podcast player, hear more from SOA Research, and subscribe to the Research Insights podcast. And encourage you, as always, as well, to send on your comments or suggestions to us. Pretty easy to do that. Just send an email to research@soa.org. We value your continued feedback on our research. Big thanks to my guest today, Patrick Nolan, SOA Experience Studies Actuary and the project manager for our Retirement Plans Experience Committee projects here at the SOA. Patrick, thanks for stopping by.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Dale. Thank you.
Everyone, thanks for watching the video. Truly, never been a better time to be an actuary. Thanks for this Research Insight. I'm Dale Hall for the Society of Actuaries.